Trump's lawyers absolutely are exposing Judge Chutkan in DC. They're revealing bias. And anytime they reveal bias, that goes in Trump's favor. Welcome to Doug in Exile. I'm Doug TenNapel, and this is Diesel, the mascot cat who hates my guts. We're going to start with a couple of headlines. So here's the beginning good news is Washington Times says special counsel Jack Smith wasn't lawfully appointed. He can't prosecute Trump, legal scholars say. So that's one point of attack that the Trump team can go down. Just to say Jack Smith shouldn't even be there. Next up from Slate Magazine, Trump's chaotic legal strategy is coming into view, and it doesn't bode well for Jack Smith. So this is where they're looking at what's going on in New York, and they're going, if he does this in January 6th, it could really benefit Trump. So again, his strategy appears to be working. That gives credit to Trump's lawyer, John Lauro, who's in the thumbnail. The brilliant Julie Kelly. New Trump's lawyers filed another motion asking Judge Chutkan to hold special counsel Jack Smith in contempt for continuing to violate a court order that put on hold the pretrial schedule pending resolution of presidential immunity questions. Too many big words, Julie Kelly, but it's all there. This is Trump's lawyers trolling Jack Smith and Chutkan because they know Chutkan isn't going to stop him. What they're doing is they're saying, like, look, Chutkan agreed that all of these cases would be paused until the Supreme Court weighed in. So why is Jack Smith introducing new charges, indictments, subpoenas on Trump during this period? They're supposed to be frozen out. That's what the argument is over. Of course, Chutkan is not going to do a thing to Jack Smith, which exposes her being a corrupt Democrat appointee judge. That puts some context. We'll read it in this legal document, and it'll help you understand what's going on. President Donald J. Trump's reply in support of motion for order to show cause. Having been caught knowingly, repeatedly, and blatantly violating the court's stay order, the special counsel and his assistants, that's Jack Smith's people, the prosecutors, offer no excuse. Instead, they engage in a failed attempt to rewrite the record, claiming that the stay order prohibits only those, quote, actions that require a response from the defendant. So Jack Smith saying, look, I'm allowed to say whatever I want about Trump. I just can't say things that require a response from him is what Chutkan meant. And they're going to prove that that's not the case. As the prosecutors are fully aware, the stay order says nothing of the sort. Rather, the stay order expressly prohibits, quote, any further proceedings. So they're just using facts to call out Jack along another line of evidence. Quote, move this case towards trial, emphasis added, highlighted the prosecutor's filings and productions, docs, whatever, attempt to achieve both of those unlawful goals. Accordingly, the court should order the prosecutors to show cause why they should not be held in contempt of court. And of course, Chutkan isn't going to do that because she's in bed with Jack Smith. So now back to Julie Kelly, who really nicely kind of outlines these things. Then we go to the legal documents to, better unpack them. Smith is violating the court order that, quote, stayed all pretrial deadlines until appellate and possibly Supreme Court settle the question whether a president is immune from criminal prosecution. That's what they keep calling it, shorthanded immunity. Does Trump have immunity for what he did? Trump's team says Smith is filing motions to cede unfavorable news coverage in tandem with the Biden campaign related to January 6th. That's how corrupt this is. This is actually working with the Biden, probably in coordination with them for the election. Remember, this is all about the election. They do not care about the law. Biden just needs Trump to lose. So we're going back to the legal document. Second, as the prosecutors are fully aware and no doubt intend, they're filing a politically charged invective, such as the recently filed motion in limine, I don't know what that means, induces substantial negative media coverage against President Trump, burdening him both personally by falsely impugning his character and professionally by undermining his leading campaign for the 2024 election. Just them leaking certain information, Jack Smith, and making news, they already know the news is going to cover it because they're all Democrat sympathetic. Watch how they put it in this legal court document that's going to Chutkan, remember. Worse, the prosecutors publicize their untruthful arguments, knowing that any press coverage will be entirely one-sided without President Trump's substantive responses. Remember back with Jack Smith, they were trying to gag order Trump. This is why they didn't want him to be able to speak. Chutkan, they said like, oh no, he can't say mean things. What they really meant was Trump would be forced to be quiet by a court, and Jack Smith and Chutkan could continue to leak this stuff out to the press, and the press would do their full-time duty of slamming Trump and defending Jack Smith. And then they get the win they wanted because it's not about justice. It's about election interference. This goes back to proving and demonstrating that this is another way that they're doing election interference, working through the media. Okay. And once more, anonymous. This is about the anonymous leaks. Quote, sources familiar with what Jack Smith's team has learned during its January 6th probe, unquote, have resumed their deliberate and unlawful efforts to damage President Trump through leaks of false and defamatory information. Now, this one we actually reported on. This keeps coming out. This is the kind of thing come out on CNN, on ABC News, that they would say these unnamed sources familiar with what Jack Smith's team had learned during its January 6th probe, and they leak it out to the public. There isn't even any substance to it. They didn't even unpack it further than that. So all I have to say is like unnamed sources tell us that Trump's in big trouble. Trump, these lawsuits, we don't know how he's going to handle them for the election. That's all they have to do, and the media runs with it. Do you see how it works now? And you see how they're using the legal system to shut Trump up, give Jack Smith a voice that they know cooked in the books. It's all going to go their way because they own the media, which is why our channel kicks butt. Our channel is the counter media. If you want to know, look, CNN isn't going to cover this stuff. I cover it. And I'm not making stuff up. I'm just giving you the case. I'm showing you the other side of the facts, which is why you should subscribe. So get in, my people. Help us out. It is not a coincidence that the Biden campaign, the prosecutors and sources close to the prosecutors are all attempting to simultaneously flood the airwaves with matching anti-Trump rhetoric during this stay. So they're supposed to be quiet, and they're flooding the airwaves with leaks and anonymous sources. This is genius. Now let's go down the rundown of all the ways that there's election interference. Number one, this is from Paul Sperry on Twitter. Number one, Biden White House green-lighted NARA's Mar-a-Lago referral to the FBI. Number two, Georgia prosecutor billed for travel to Biden White House. That would be Fani Willis or through Nathan Wade. Number three, Letitia James made numerous trips to Biden White House. Number four, Alvin Bragg huddled with Schiff impeachment henchman Goldman. Number five, the J6 Democrats engineered the Georgia Fulton County investigation. We know that she got the information from that crew. Are you starting to see the picture now of I'm going to keep building this case over the months and show you it only gets stronger. The chaos, and here's the final one, Slate Magazine, the chaos in Trump's New York civil trial portends bad news for Jack Smith, because that's how Trump does it. Remember, he's a chaos agent here to kick over their perfect planned hive mentality empire. He's their nightmare. He burns things down. That's why we support him. And he's going to be there as our president in 2024. I'm Doug in exile.